What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the PokeCave. If you guys remember, a few weeks ago, I spent $11,000 on one booster pack from Logan Paul for the first edition base set booster box opening.
All right, Ivysaur, we got a good hit. We got a good hit. Come on.
Pokemon Center. Metapod.
Metapod.
Energy removal.
Magnemite. Okay.
Water energy.
Nidoran. Diglett. Oh, we gotta get a hollow. Oh, Imposter Professor Oak.
Well, today's the day I got the package in, and I'm going to show you guys all of the cards that I got from that opening. So they're right inside of here. Before I open this, though, I want to show you that I picked up something really awesome. This is a Trainer Deck B, factory sealed. Now, this says not for resale on the side here. This was a box of cards that were given out to prototype leagues before Pokemon was officially released. So these are base set cards, but on the back of the cards, they have red lines all outlining the actual card, and then on the back there's also a B symbol. So it's a pretty cool, unique sort of item, and I'm happy to put this in my collection. But I'm kind of curious, would you guys want to see this get opened up if we hit 100,000 subscribers on the channel? Let me know down below in the comment section, and maybe we could do that. So let's jump right over into the cards here, and let's just see what we got here. So we're gonna crack it open. I cut it open, but I haven't looked inside of it yet. So, and it looks like we have like a little like part of like a blanket or a sheet or something, or like a handkerchief. No, there's like a handkerchief as like protection in there. And then we have the bubble wrap to protect it. And you can see I had the Venusaur pack artwork. So let's crack this open and see what we got in here. All right, so I didn't get a holo if you guys saw, but there are a bunch of cards in here that are hopefully worth some value, so let's check it out. So first off, we got the Venusaur pack artwork. Let's see how the pack's looking. So looks pretty good on the front. There's a little bit off the top there, but these have value in themselves. So the empty pack artwork, and then we move into the cards. So I'm going to put the values of these actually. So an empty pack, I believe, is probably something like $50 or so. But then we have the Ivysaur. So let's take a look at this. Now, if this card were to come back in a PSA 10, I have the prices up here on the screen. So check it out. If this were to come back at 10, the last known sales for this card were, it looks like 2,500, a little under 2,000. Now, I don't know if this is an actual sale or not because it was a few months ago, but the most recent was 2,500. So let's say between 2,000 and 2,500 would be this card in a PSA 10. And if it were to come back in a PSA 9, we're looking at about $550 to $600 on the previous sales. And these are all sold listings, so these did sell. All right, so let's switch back here and check out the card up close. So first off, it's in a top loader, so I want to get it out of this. And I don't really like top loaders at all because the card can kind of fall out. But here we go. All right, Ivysaur. Let's check this out. The centering on it is actually pretty good. I'm liking how the centering is looking on this thing. I don't think I'm going to take it out of the sleeve, actually. I'm just going to leave it in here. These sleeves are pretty good. So centering's looking pretty good on this thing, actually. It's off a little bit top to bottom. Now let's check out the back and see if there's any white specks or anything like that. Now, the only one that I see is on the bottom left corner there. It's like a tiny little one. But other than that, this is actually a really clean card. I don't see anything else on this card. The back is off a little bit top to bottom, but the back centering can be off quite a bit for these cards on the back anyway. The front is what you want to look at. But on non-holo cards like this, really the main thing is the centering on it and if there's any whitening. You don't have to worry about the holo or anything like that. So a shadowless first edition base set Ivysaur. This is probably one of the biggest hits that we had out of the box there. So this one, hopefully this will come back maybe a 10 if we're super lucky. So let's put this one to the side and let's see what else we got in here. So the Farfetch'd. So this card, let's check it out up close. I'm going to re-sleeve these and stuff or put them in different card savers after this anyway. So this one's definitely off top to bottom. So we look at the centering on this. We look at the yellow borders all around it and you can see the bottom is definitely looking a little bit thicker than the top on this thing. And let's check out the back as well. So The back actually looks really good on this one as well. The only thing is, again, on this one, a tiny little nick on the bottom left. So with PSA 10s, you could still have like one tiny flaw, maybe two at the very, very most. But this one might be a little bit too off for a PSA 10. But let's check out the prices on this and see what it would be worth. So switching back up on here, the last sold price of this in a PSA 10 was $250. So this is back in August, though, so it could be worth a bit more. And actually, if we go to items that haven't sold, we can kind of put it in order from highest to lowest here and then go and see. So like the lowest is $725. I think this card is probably worth more than the last sold price of $250 back in August. So this in a 10, I would say realistically is probably pushing closer to like $500 or so, just based off of the market and everything like that. That's like almost 2 full months ago. So we got a Farfetch'd as the other uncommon out of this box. And then if it were to actually come back in a PSA 9, by the way, a 9's looking like the last sold. See, like the last sold for $200 in a PSA 9. And when we were looking at the 10, see, that was $250. So that's why I'm saying I think that they're worth more than that, because a 9 should not be that close to a PSA 10. Actually, no, this says reserved a lot of 2 Pokemon cards. So never mind. That probably doesn't even count then. But like $100 to $150 for a PSA 9. So let's check and see what else we got here. Overall, I would say this is more likely to get a 9. I think the Ivysaur does have a shot at a PSA 10, though, for sure. So there is our Imposter Professor Oak. So this was my rare that I got out of the box, or out of the pack. So if you guys saw, I did not get a holo card. This one definitely hurt a lot, but the cool thing about it, though, was even with this opening and everything, the exposure was totally worth the price alone, because, you know, I didn't get a lot of like awesome hits out of the box, but just like the shout out alone and the exposure to the channel and just Pokemon in general is totally worth it. And just being involved with the action and just having a fun time with it, being able to create video content around it as well. Just overall, I don't have any regrets whatsoever. But we got hit with the Imposter Professor Oak. They couldn't even give us the OG Professor Oak. We got the Imposter. So this is Imposter Professor Oak. It's definitely not a popular card by any means, but on this one for the rare, we got ourselves an off-center card. So this left to right is too far off. You could tell that's when it starts getting to be too far off to be a PSA 10. Unfortunately, well, you could still look at the back. The back on this one's pretty good too. It does have like a tiny, it's a lot smaller on that corner ding. And the centering is actually not too bad on the back, but the left to right's going to be too far off. But let's check our prices on our Imposter Professor Oak here. So let's just for argument's sake, you know, if it were to come back a PSA 10, it would have been like a $400 to $500 card. Again, these are a lot of older listings as well. So if we go on the market now and see what is actually available for the card, let's see. That one is Korean language. So like the cheapest one right now, if you wanted to buy it, would be $800. So the market's definitely changing. But a 9 for this card would be, yeah, this one stings. A 9 for this is looking to be like $100 to $125 or so as the last sold listings on it. So this one's looking like a 9, and that was the rare, guys, so keep that in mind. For a rare, like our Ivysaur was a really nice hit, but then our rare was just like so bad. But anyway, we continue down here. Now we're moving on to our energy removal. This was a common that we pulled out. Let's check this card up close and see how it's looking. So this one, the left to right on this one is actually off a bit as well. Top to bottom's off a little bit, but the left to right is off the most on this. So let's check out the back. We got a little nick on the top left there, the bottom left as well. Centering's off a little bit. Most likely this would pull something like a 9. It is the left to right's a little bit more off, but I do like that the Ivysaur was looking a lot better. So let's check out this card and see what the actual price would be for this in both the 10 and the 9. And I'm not saying that this could get a 10, but I just want to, for argument's sake, show the 10 prices for all the pulls as well. So jumping back on here, we got the energy removal, and sold in PSA 10s like around $300 to $400 or so, to $450-ish at the most for this in a PSA 10, but most likely looking at a 9, which it looks to be about $70 or so. So $60 to $70 in the PSA 9. So another hit that was pretty bad. The Imposter Oak was pretty bad. Most of my hits, guys, were not too good. There were some decent ones, and one really good one, the Ivysaur, but this messes with my OCD when they're not in like this all the way. So if you guys ever put these in card savers, I recommend like not having it close to the top, because the further these are in here, the more protected they're going to be. But here we go. We got a Pokemon Center. So this one's actually better centering. The centering on this is actually pretty solid. I'm liking the centering on this a lot, actually. It looks pretty good. And Pokemon Center is not like a super popular card either. It's literally just a trainer card. But bottom left has that same little thing. So most of my cards have this tiny little thing on the bottom left there. And maybe like a tiny little one up here. It's super hard to see on that one though. But overall, this is a pretty solid card. Let's see what the Pokemon Center card will be worth in a PSA 10. And keep in mind, this is actually an uncommon. So this was the other uncommon card that I got out of the box. And this one in a PSA 10 is looking to be like the last sold prices were $150 to $200 for 10. And then a 9, you're looking at about $70, $75. So another one that's not too good, guys. But we continue down, and then we got our energy card. So this is a psychic energy, and you get 2 energies per pack on these. So this one is off left to right for sure, a little bit there, and even top to bottom a bit. Most likely this one would be like a 9. And yeah, it has like a little bit of like corner nicks on these, but they don't really have any edge wear, which is good. This one is the psychic energy. Now, you guys you might be surprised if you never looked at energy card prices for first edition base set, but if we look at the psychic energy here it is. So this one, the previous sold listings for this were about $200. So one actually just sold yesterday for $200 in a PSA 10. And if you were to get a 9, even a 9 for just an energy card, this one sold for about $45 if you include the shipping on it. This one, $25. They're kind of a little bit all over the place. These are actually different sets here, but first edition base, yeah, about like $45 to $50, even up to like 60 or so. And yeah, this one's German. That's why you're seeing some other lower prices there. But yeah, like $50, $60 for a 9 on this card. So let's continue. And this one, I remember it all started going downhill once we got the Metapod. I couldn't help myself. When I saw the Metapod, I just had a feeling that we were just going to start hurting. Because we started with the Farfetch, which was whatever. But then we hit the Ivysaur, which I was actually I was happy. When we hit the Ivysaur, I was feeling good. I was like, all right, we got the Ivysaur, let's go. Then I was like, I don't like that I'm seeing a Metapod here. Metapod. So this one's another one that's off a bit left to right. It's going to be too far off left to right. I'm really happy my Ivysaur was looking really good, though. I just want to say that. Like, the Ivysaur is like a little bit of hope here. But Metapod off center, left to right a bit. It's a bit too much to get the 10, and then has like a little nick. So most likely this one would come back a PSA 9. So if we pull up the Metapod here, we can see... So for argument's sake, again, we'll check out the 10 price. And yeah, I mean, about 300-ish. Actually, a little bit surprised. But it is an uncommon, so it's a little bit tougher to find, I would assume, than the common cards. But yeah, about like $300 for this in a 10. And then a 9, you're looking at about like $100 or so, 115 for a PSA 9, which this would most likely be. So, and yeah, guys, like this was a super high risk thing to jump in and grab a pack on. I was fully expecting not to do well on this. Like that was like the worst case scenario, a thing that happened on pulls anyway. But so now we move on here to our Magnemite, which we also got out of the box. And this is another one that's looking off left to right, unfortunately. Top to bottom's off a little bit as well. There's also like a little bit of an ink thing going on the bottom of this card. There's like, yeah, like you can see like a little ink dot on the bottom there from the factory. But a Magnemite, it's another Pokemon that's not super popular, obviously, but has a little bit of whitening on the top there, and it's just it's a Magnemite. But let's just see what this card would be worth in a PSA 10 as well as a PSA 9. So here's our PSA 10. We're seeing about the last one sold on auction for about $370. So 370, 325 ish. So yeah, probably around 325 to 370 for a 10, but I doubt this would get a 10. The left to right on a lot of these is where we're getting hit, because when they come off the same sheet, that's what happens. And then a 9, right? So our 9s are looking about 125 bucks for a PSA 9, maybe up to 150 or so. So the other thing about this is I'm going to send all these in for a PSA submission, most likely PSA. And yeah, so I'll send these just together by themselves. And then I'm not going to do express or anything. I'm going to take the slow train with these and maybe hope, like, if we get them back in like 6 months to a year, that they're worth a lot more than they are now, maybe. But yeah, I'm going to do it that way. But either way, I'll probably keep most of these. Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's a cool memory for a lot of these. But yeah, maybe not the Imposter Professor Oak. That one definitely hurt a little bit. We got a Nidoran though, and this one is the same thing. Like the left to right is off a bit on this. It's a little bit better than the other ones, but the top to bottom's pretty good as on this one. But it's another Pokemon. Like, you get the comments out of here. You're looking for Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, like all those, and we were just getting hit with like Magnemite, Nidoran. But anyway, the top left on this one is pretty noticeable. Little ding there, and same thing on the bottom left, and even a tiny bit on that. So I'd assume this one would probably get like a 9, even with the centering alone on this thing. So Nidoran, if we were to get this card, again, for argument's sake, back in a PSA 10, wow, okay. I actually didn't even realize that. So if you get this in a 10, the last one sold for $550. There's one for $400, $440. So you're probably talking like $450 to $550 for this in a PSA 10 now. If we were to get, I wonder why that one's a little bit higher. Maybe it's tougher to find. But now this one in a 9, I'm actually seeing some for $200, $125. So it's a little bit all over the place a little bit. $125 to $200-ish for the Nidoran. And then what else we got here? We got a Water Energy, so another energy card like the Psychic one. Basically, this one's pretty good, actually. This one's looking pretty good. I think just from the front, it looking like it might have a shot. The top to bottom's off a little bit. And the back, though, oh, we got hurt on this one. It's like whitening all around the corner there. Looks like the blade started getting dull on this card on there. So, oh, on that one too. I don't think this will get a 10 either. So, a Water Energy. I remember this one was always tougher to find, but I don't think that's the case anymore. But let's just check it out and see what this would be worth. So, PSA 10. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Water Energy and a PSA 10, for some reason, it used to be worth a lot more. I think they were tougher to find. I don't know why, but I don't think that's the case anymore, because these are looking about 150 to 200-ish or so. And then a PSA 9... 50 to 60 bucks. So Water Energy, and then we have a we got the Diglett. So here's our Diglett. This, I don't know why, this just messes with my OCD really bad. Am I the only one when it's just like not all the way in there and it's all crooked and stuff? Whenever I put these in card savers, I have to like be like this. But anyway, Diglett, we have this card, and centering on this one is like the same thing. The left to right is off a bit. Top to bottom is pretty good though. Left to right's not terrible. Let's see the back though. The back has like a little tiny dot there. This one maybe would have a shot. I think it actually has a shot. So yeah, the Diglett. So if this card were to come back in a PSA 10, let's see what the price would be on this one. And then we'll see what the PSA 9 price would be. I forget where I pulled this one up at. There it is. Okay. Okay, so this one, if you wanted a Diglett in a PSA 10, it looks like they're actually worth like $500 plus. $400 and then the $500 and then $650 best offer. So these are selling. That's kind of interesting. That's all really recent. So if we go like to the highest price here listed, they're about 500, 480. That one's on auction. So yeah, probably like closer to 500 for this card in a PSA 10. Then in a PSA 9, about 150, 100 to 150. These cards are selling really frequently. These are all sold in the last couple of days here. So a lot of movement with first edition base. But guys, again, I'm going to send these cards out to PSA. So check it out. Really quick recap here of all the cards. And then one other quick thing as well. But here they all are. I think this is like for sure then the Ivysaur is like the biggest hitter out of here. Out of this Venusaur pack. But yeah, even the rare is like nothing compared to this Ivysaur card. So here they all are. I'm gonna send these all out to PSA, all in just one submission by themselves. We'll do another video. Maybe it'll take up to a year to get these back. I'm just sending these in as normal, the normal bulk rate. So who knows how long it's gonna take? But we'll do it that way, and maybe we'll reevaluate the prices. Maybe they'll be way different by the time we get them back. But again, guys, Trainer Deck B, if you did want to see this get opened up maybe for like 100,000 subscribers special, let me know. Leave a comment down below. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you on the next one.